Welcome back to the show, Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. Senator Tuberville, as always, sir, it's great to see you. What do you think? I'm just making a forecast, but I think that's where Trump wants to go. He wants to talk about success and unity. He doesn't want to do mudslinging. Biden's going to do what Biden's going to do, but I think Trump has a clear vision here. What do you think? Can he do it?
Oh, I think he can do it. There's no doubt, because this is his forte. President Trump does good off the cuff. I'm not sure about President Biden. I don't know where he's at mentally or physically. But let me tell you, Larry, we've been on recess for about a week and a half. I've been all over the country, out in the field, talking to people, and I've never seen people more angry and more upset, but also looking more forward to a debate than this one. This will be interesting. And here's what they tell me. They want answers. They want answers from Joe Biden. Why? Why have you done all this to our country? The border, crime, inflation, no gas and oil, foreign wars. Why have you done this to the American people? We can't afford it. And so Joe Biden is really the guy on trial tonight. He's going to have to answer these tough questions. If he doesn't answer them, he's going to be really, really trouble when it comes to November.
You think it's possible Mr. Trump would put it to Biden early on using this tax-free tipping idea, which is so unpopular. I just saw a poll, plus 65%, 70% favored the idea of tax-free tips for the gig economy, for waitresses and whatever. What if he smokes out Biden right away, asks Biden if he agrees that it's time to stop taxing all these people who are working hard but need to have better after-tax, after-inflation income? What do you think about that? Would you do it if you were debating, try to smoke him out?
Oh, you dang right I'd do it. I'd bring him out real quick, because what he has done, Larry, Joe Biden has done, he has almost ruined the middle class. And the middle class are the people that go to work every day, don't make a lot of money, but if they do get a little extra money, they would love to not have to pay taxes on it. And that's exactly what is happening here with the no tax on tips. And these are young people. I have talked to more young people there, Generation X and Z, all these young people that you would say, well, they're all liberal and they're looking at voting Democrat. They are dead wrong. These kids understand they want a better life than their parents, and they see right now the direction we're heading with all these high taxes and everything that's going on with Joe Biden. They're not going to have the same life that their parents had, and they're exactly right if we stay down this same road.
Well, I think that raises another important point. Housing affordability has crashed. And I think for the younger kids, the voters, young voters who are working, Senator Tuberville, I think they see the American dream is out of reach. It's very discouraging to them. They don't like it one bit. Home prices are record highs. Home sales are crashing. Mortgage rates are too high, and so forth and so on. This is something Trump, I think, should make hay on. There's an overall affordability crisis, but especially with young.
Oh, it's going to get worse too, Larry. I talked to a group of home builders just a few days ago, and they say in the very near future, you're going to see a medium-sized home be somewhere around 12 to 1,300 square feet. I'm not talking about 1,000. I'm talking about 12 to 1,300. That's smaller than a single-wide trailer. These kids are looking down the barrel of a gun of having to pay high taxes, more taxes to pay down the debt, all these regulations, and they're not going to be able to afford, because of the high rising inflation, anything over 12, 14, 1,500 square feet in a new home. I feel sorry for them, but we can get back to it. Just give President Trump a chance to get this country back going again, because obviously President Biden and his staff have zero answers.
So the other thing, of course, is Mr. Trump's got to get to the border fast. It's a gigantic issue. Some polls show it to be the number one issue. Other polls say it's tied with inflation and the economy. This terrible, tragic murder of the young woman in Houston, Texas. We had it in Georgia. We've had it up in New York. Mayorkas has a tin ear. He doesn't know how to talk about it. Biden never even talks about it. The border has become front and center. And I would reckon Mr. Trump's got to get to the border issue pretty fast also tonight.
Well, you got to remember, Larry, this is a away game for President Trump. He's on foreign soil in terms of being at CNN. He has the referees not on his side. He has all the rules going against him, and he has to make sure that he gets exactly what you said up front and close, very clear and very quick in this debate, and that's the border. Everything else we can take care of. We can pay down the debt. We can get inflation down. We can slow the crime down. We can get out of these foreign wars. But if we continue to open that border, and President Trump knows this, he talks about it every time I talk to him, if it continues to stay open, all this other stuff is mute, because this drags everything else down. The people coming across it, we're having to pay billions of dollars every quarter just to take care of them.
Yeah, it's bankrupting the country, of course. Innocent civilians are getting killed, which is awful, too. But you know what else? The last one, Senator Tuberville, regarding crime and law and order. It seems to me the open border issue, as it grows, has spread crime and public safety as an issue throughout the country. It might not have been there a few years ago, but now the issue of crime, law and order, and public safety has become a huge issue. Again, Mr. Biden seems to have a tin ear, and I'm expecting Mr. Trump to go right toward it.
Oh, he should go straight for it, because when you lose your streets and your neighborhoods, the safety, and you can't let your kids go outside to play, you're afraid to go to the park. You can't go to the store. You're even scared to stop at a gas station because you might get mugged at a gas station. Enough is enough of this. And the American people, Larry, Democrats included, are sick of this direction that we're going. We have to stop this madness, but the madness is getting worse and worse. I'm worried about the next 6 months, even when President Trump does win, of what this group can do to continue to bring the downfall of our country. Our country is in bad trouble. We need help, and Donald Trump's the one who's going to do it. It's going to be tough for him to win tonight because everything's stacked against him, but he has the answers. I want to hear any answer that Joe Biden has to any of these bad problems that we're having that he has actually started himself.
All right. Amen to all that. Senator Tuberville, thank you, sir.